All right, guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an article titled My Biggest Gripe with Being Married. Now, guys, this article or this story is written by a guy who is your classic small town guy, a guy's guy, and he talks about what his life is like being married with kids and all that. And this isn't your typical story that I share about some affair or cheating wife or some crap like that. This is just the regular boring shit that a typical married life is like. And as I go through this, guys, for those of you that are married right now or were married in the past and had kids and did the whole thing, you're going to notice a lot of similarity. You're going to recognize things that are very common and some of the shit that either you go through right now or the shit you went through in the past. And if you are now on your own, I guarantee you'll be laughing because you sure as hell don't miss it, and you now have the freedom to do whatever you want whenever you want. Because this guy, like a lot of guys, don't. Now, at the end of the day, guys, a lot of guys end up being in situations like this because they get pee-whipped and they don't stand up to their wives and demand some space or some guy time and things like that. But regardless, you're still going to have a lot on your plate dealing with kids and family and in-laws and obligations and as a husband and shit like that. So for any of you guys that think you want to get married one day, that you're with a girl in your mind, she's sweet and kind and would never do anything to hurt me and everything like that, and you want to settle down, this is the other side to it, guys. This is the side where it has nothing to do with cheating, just a regular shitty life you're going to trade your freedom for and have. And so I want you to hear this from this guy so that those of you that think that things will be so great like on TV, here's the reality, okay? So it starts off saying, maybe this is another 2 a.m. incoherent rambling from a guy who just woke up from a dream, but here goes. My dream started off, I was riding on this train coming from Portland, going to Columbia. All my old high school buddies were there. And you guys too. And how I imagine you guys anyway. We were running around, raising hell, and having a good time. One of my best friends is wheeling alongside the train in his 1972 Bronco. And we take turns wheeling around like some scene out of Road Warrior. That's when I wake up. That's when reality sets in. I live in a small town. Since we have been married, my wife and I have had to move to several places so I can chase work. We get along great as husband and wife, and we have a couple good kids. But the biggest thing I miss having is good male friendships. A lot of guys, when they get married, one way or another, the male friendships, the hanging out with your buddies, that's gone. Unless the guys happen to be married themselves and the women try to arrange this play date bullshit, okay? And a lot of wives don't want their husbands hanging out with single guys because they're fearful that's going to give them bad ideas. They're going to see how happy these single guys are, being free to do what they want, hooking up with different women, buying what car they want, and the freedom, and it might give the married guys bad ideas. How many guys watching this right now that are married or been married had your wives or have your wives try to distance you from your single buddies? Happens all the time. In church, there are some decent guys I know. One in particular is big into guns and hunting and is pretty cool to hang around. The thing is, that is for like 5 minutes after church on Sundays. After that, I have to round up kids and he has to do the same. Our families take priority, so we part ways and do our own thing. This sounds like my childhood. When I was a kid, I was smothered in Jesus. Okay, most of my life I spent in a small town in Pennsylvania, out in the country. Okay, and my mom, I guess, wanted me to not be a rebellious, troublemaking teenager, so I was smothered in JC. Every Sunday, Sunday school, church, youth organizations. They put me in the damn choir for a while. That was pure hell. I will never forgive them for that. Okay? Bible school in the summer, camp, and all this other crap, I was smothered in it. And so every weekend, on Sunday, you see these guys getting out of church. They'd have their little chats, and then we're off. Then I had to go out to lunch with grandma and talk about church and everything. I guess you guys wouldn't believe that I was smothered in all that when I was a kid. But anyhow, my dad would talk to some people, and that's that. But that was the Sunday, okay? But all these other guys, I could tell, just observing these things as a kid, were in that same situation. That was about it, and the rest of it was with family. Not a fun way. During the week, I have work, then I come home, my wife has dinner ready, or nearby, or nearly ready, and I get the kids to set the table. After dinner is a chore time, and we clean up. My wife insists that I don't have to help, but what else am I going to do at this time? It would be weird to sit around when everyone else is busy around me. So I help herd the cats and get the kids to clean up the messes they've made. Most nights there is church activities or family home evenings, repair jobs, or something else to take up the time. If there isn't something going on, or I will play with the kids. Take a walk with the wife or something until bedtime. Rinse, repeat, ad infinitum. So in other words, this is his life. It's the wife, it's the kids, the job, that's about it. You're not noticing any free time for this guy, really, right? There's no time with his buddies, there's no time for his hobbies, it's just routine. This wouldn't be fun for me. Back to church. I have church to socialize with people, but 90% of those activities revolve around helping some little old ladies with things she can't do anymore, like her yard, or some dinner entertainment that involves the whole family and end up herding my kids around. It isn't what I'm looking for. I work during the week. There are projects to work on, which usually fills up Fridays. The family wants to go play, so that fills up Saturdays. Then Sunday is Sunday. And Sunday obviously is church and all those activities. Rinse, repeat, recycle. Does this sound familiar to any of you? Either how you grew up in a family like this, or what you're going through right now. I mean, not everybody's situation is going to be like this, but you're noticing it's all about the family and the kids. And if that's what you like, if that's what you want in life, and it makes you happy, cool, no problem. But for a lot of guys, this sucks, and they don't realize this going into the situation. That's how it's going to be in one form or another. And this guy obviously is not very happy. Years go by, and I find all my friends are doing the same with their families. We have socially isolated ourselves. There have been a few times I tried to invite guys over for burgers or whatever, but my wife will absolutely stress out about anyone stopping by that isn't one of her closest friends and go on this mega cleaning mode and make the whole thing a very unpleasant experience. Does that sound familiar, guys? You want to have people over and your wife or girlfriend goes nuts and having to make the place so clean that probably the White House is dirtier than your house, okay? They go crazy over that. And for most guys, as long as the house is straightened up enough, there isn't cat litter on the floor next to the litter box and things are swept up enough, that's good. But the wives will go crazy and will have the whole place vacuumed and sterilized and all this other crap. It's unbelievable. I know a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. My mom was that way. Anytime anybody come over, we had to be clean everything. It was nuts. Continues on. So naturally, I don't invite others over very much. And going out costs money. Even if I come up with an idea, they have their own stuff going on, and it's unlikely that we can make it happen. So many canceled plans. Sound familiar, guys? Anyway, this is probably the biggest reason I waste time online with you guys. I enjoy the toilet humor and the your mom banter. I find it very difficult to get in real life. I had this 4x4 pickup with wiring problems sitting in my driveway for months now. I had it for 8 years or so, and I loved it, with all the issues. Had a guy towed it away this weekend, though, although it didn't run for over 8 years now. I miss it sitting there. It was this symbol of my youth and my carefree man side of me. Last year, when that pickup started to crap out, we bought another pickup. But because of budget, it was only a 2-wheel drive crappy pickup that I'd never been happy with. I should have held out and got more of what I wanted. Maybe I will get something else. But wife has her eyes set on new siding for the house. This will be a battle coming once we build up enough savings. See, again, you can see this guy, he's unhappy in his life, and I can definitely, have empathy, but this guy obviously doesn't stand up for himself, and most guys, most husbands don't. They do the shit you see on TV and movies, and they just go along and follow the wife around whatever she wants. They live by that nonsense, happy wife, happy life crap. It's more like a happy life, no wife. But a lot of these guys go along with this. And so this guy needs to stand up for himself. It sounds like his wife's actually all right. I mean, from what I'm piecing together here. But, it's obviously her plan, the family, and the kids. But at the end of the day, guys, you make your bed, you lie in it. Okay? We are the masters of our own destiny. Is shit going to happen and come in the way of our plans? Yes. But you learn to adapt and roll with the punches. But a lot of guys are like this in this guy's story here, and it's really unfortunate. But You make those choices. But I share stories like this, guys, and talk about these things so a lot of guys can understand what they're getting into, okay? Again, not every situation is like this guy, but I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to certain things here. He continues, what gets me is how we trade one thing for another. I trade my male friendships and a good part of my maleness, symbolized by the pickup story, for a wife and kids. I saw the same thing with my dad, and now I'm seeing it in me. See? Your parents, how your parents are and your family, they will influence you in so many ways you don't even realize. And a lot of guys and women end up becoming their parents in so many ways, for better or for worse. So it takes some definitely strong nerves, strong will to go on your own path. But at the end of the day, guys, most people in life are sheep, and they're gonna go with the herd and do what everybody else does. Because it's still, regardless of how things are in this day and age, the high divorce rate, and a lot of guys waking up and realizing, hey, this shit ain't for me. A lot of guys are still going to just go along and do this thing because they don't want to be the odd man out that isn't married, or it would upset the parents, upset the family, upset grandma. So they're not going to become bachelors, even though everything in their gut is telling them, don't marry this woman, you don't want to do this, you don't want to settle down, you're happy how you are. Because a lot of guys are really happy when they're single. They're having a great time, but they've been so conditioned by society, by the media, by religion, that they got to settle down and find the one and all that and do their part, But trust me, there's almost 8 billion people on the planet. You don't have to worry about any problems to the population. And look at all the stuff this guy's missing. Now, again, he can definitely stand up for himself, draw a line in the sense that, hey, I'm going to get this truck I want. I'm going to have a little me time, even if it's, once a month. I'm getting together with the buddies. I don't want to go through this hassle, but you clean the house. But, this is the life that a lot of guys live. He continues on. I understand we cannot have it all, but it would be nice to be able to jump on the side of the other side of the fence from time to time and see if the grass is really greener over there, or if it's just a mirage and there really isn't anything anymore. It's not a mirage. The other side of the fence is very green. Most of the guys I look at have remained single, wind up becoming alcoholics, and have a totally different set of issues. But that is a topic that would probably be better written by someone else. That's the end of his little story here, a little thing about his life. But with regards to what he just said about wondering if the grass is greener on the other side, trust me on this. The grass is greener on the other side. But you got to make that grass green, okay? A couple weekends ago, I got to go with 2 of my buddies. One is married, and one is single. And the guy that's single, he loves to always, we'll be talking about things like this, because the one good friend, he's in a crappy marriage. His wife's a bitch. She's always bitching at him and disrespecting him, but he won't do anything about it because he's fearful of being alone and all that. And she completely bosses him around and all that. And I say things to him. I pick and choose my words because the guy's sensitive, and at the end of the day, my friendship with him is more important to me than me being right. But the other friend, when I talk about these things, he says, hey, the grass is greener on the other side, and he's alone, and he, sometimes I can tell, is lonely and thinks that it'd be better to be married. And he hears the story from my friend, but he still doesn't get it. So it's, at the end of the day, it's what you make, guys. We make our own lives, is what you make of it. So for a lot of you guys that haven't married yet, you're single, and you got a girl you're with, and you're starting to think that maybe I want to do this, just listen to things like this. This story, again, had nothing to do with cheating or affairs. It's just this guy's life. He's unhappy. It's just all about the kids and the family and activities and just day in, day out, the same boring fucking thing. Now, he can stand up for himself and start doing things for himself, but a lot of guys like this end up not really enjoying themselves until the kids are out of the house. And even then, sometimes that's when the marriage ends, That's why a lot of guys end up leaving once the kids are gone, because they've spent 2 decades of this. And also, a lot of women end up doing the same thing. So I would say in this situation, to make it better, he does things to enjoy himself every once in a while. The guy obviously earned it, but who knows what the situation is like. If he's fearful of his wife like my buddy, who the hell knows? But this is what it's like, guys. So just think about that before you put a ring on a girl's finger and say, I do, because that could be you. Just keep that in mind. Anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Quick video. I just want to share that with you. Show you a little different side to the things with regards to marriage. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.